Welcome to Daughters of Divine Joy, the radio show for women who are tired of choosing between success and their sanity. Each week, we gather around this virtual table to talk about the things nobody else is saying out loud: how to lead without burning, how to set boundaries without guilt, how to honor your calling without sacrificing your soul. This is a sacred place for women who are done accepting chaos as normal and ready to claim the joy that's been their birthright all along. This is Daughters of Divine Joy. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. You know that feeling you get when you're running on empty, but the world keeps asking for more, and when you're the strong friend of the group, but nobody's checking on you, or when you feel like rest is a luxury and you can't afford it. Well, honey, welcome to Daughters of Divine Joy, the radio show for high achieving women who are tired of choosing between success and sanity. I'm your host, Diane Butts, retired school teacher, retired worker, school social worker, and leadership coach, and a recovering people pleaser. So, after years of being everyone else's rock, while I was basically crumbling on the inside, I discovered something. I discovered that something that our ancestors already knew, that rest is resistance. I discovered that I didn't have to just keep going and going and going like the Energizer bunny. I discovered that I could rest, that rest is resilience, that boundaries are holy, and joy is not optional, it's oxygen. Okay. So each week we're going to gather here and we're going to talk about the things that we basically don't say out loud. We just keep doing and doing and doing and not honoring what's going on inside of us. And so we want to talk about how to lead on the job without burning out. We want to talk about how to set boundaries and not feel guilty about a job, and how to honor your calling without sacrificing your soul. So this is a sacred place where we're going to come and we're going to talk about these things that are on our mind and how we're going to deal with it without going crazy. Because, baby, ain't nobody around here trying to have no breakdowns. We don't have time for it. Okay. So for the next hour, we're going to go deep. We're going to talk about rest as liberation. We're going to learn a little something from our ancestors, and I'm going to share some things about life coaching, the process of life coaching, how it has helped me and how it's helped others. Okay. And so, honey, grab a tea, get comfortable. I'm glad you're here, and welcome, welcome home, daughter. This is Daughters of Divine Joy. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Our first segment is about sacred rest. So I want to do some teaching first before we dive into it deeply. Rest. Well, before we get into rest, let's talk about this hustle culture. We live in a society that wants our labor, okay? And so we have learned that to rest is to be lazy, and nobody wants to be lazy, but it's not lazy. Laziness is liberation. And so I need to tell you that something that might make you uncomfortable, that the lie says the rest didn't come from God, and it did. Okay, the lie that rest is lazy, is not godly, is not biblical. It is from the systems that profit from your exhaustion. So let's get into this. Let me, how can I put it? Okay. Let me say it slower this time so it can sink in. The lie that rest is lazy came from the systems that profit from our exhaustion. Think about it. I want you to really think about this. Who benefits when you work yourself into the ground? Your employer gets more productivity for the same pay. The economy gets constant consumption because you're too tired to question whether you need something and not or why you're buying something. The system that exploits your labor requires you to be exhausted, too exhausted to organize, too depleted to resist, too burned out to fight back. Okay? So that's the truth about it. But what scripture says is something completely different. We know that God rested on the seventh day, not because God was tired, because God doesn't get tired. God rested because there was a rhythm that God was creating that God wanted us to follow as well. And this rhythm is that you do work and you rest. Okay, so this is a model for us. So Genesis 2, 2 to 3 says, by the seventh day, God finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, God rested from all God's work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy because God rested from all the work of creating that he had done. I'm trying to say God and not he. I really don't like to use gendered language when I'm talking about God, but old habits are hard to break. So I will go back and forth, but I promise you, if I say he, I'm going to say she sometimes too, because God is not just one thing and we cannot put God in a box. Let's get that straight. Okay, so when you rest, you're not being lazy, you're being like God. All right? When you rest, you're not being lazy, you're being like God. Okay, so let's go even deeper into the word. The Sabbath commanded in Deuteronomy 5:15, and it connects directly to liberation. Okay, it makes you understand that rest is not just something you do, but it's something that you are supposed to do, you honor, and that is part of your freedom. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. This isn't about personal wellness, y'all. It's not. It's about you. It's about you being free. It's about you being beloved. It's about you being liberated. Okay? So the Sabbath is God's answer to slavery. It's a weekly reminder that you are no longer owned, not by your employer, not by the people that set expectations for you, and neither are you owned by capitalism. You're not even owned by your own ambitions. So let's kind of reframe that and look at it differently so that you can find some freedom. Rest is how you remember you're free. For Black women, for women of color, for any woman who's been told that her worth is in her work, rest becomes even more radical because we've inherited generational trauma around labor. I'm going to say that one more time. We have inherited generational trauma around labor. hmm Okay. Our ancestors were literally worked to death. Their bodies were commodified. Their time was stolen. Their rest was denied. Okay, so when we choose rest now, we're not taking care of just ourselves. We're breaking generational curses. We're refusing to let our children inherit the lie that they have to earn their humanity through the exhaustion. Rest is resistance. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you a tool that you can use for this week, and it's called the 2-hour digital sundown. So, 2 hours before your bedtime, turn off all screens. Now, I have done this, and I did it for more than just a week. I did it for, God, I think I did it for like 3 months. I was doing a digital fast. A certain hour of the day, everything went off. I'm asking you to do it in this challenge during the evening before you go to bed. And this is good sleep hygiene as well because it allows you to clear everything out, just relax, okay? Just release, just let go. So turn your phone down, you can put it on silent. Okay, they can contact you later. They can still call. They can still leave a message. They can still leave the text. I didn't say turn it off, just silence it. Okay, turn off the television, turn off your computer, put the iPad down, none of that. Take a shower. Let the water minister to you. Take a bath if that's what you prefer. Fill it with bubbles if you want something like that. If you happen to have a jetted tub, maybe you can, take and enjoy the jacuzzi, enjoy the bubbles coming up. That sounds good to me. Have a glass of wine, whatever it is that you do to just calm down and release. And I want you to breathe. Just breathe. Give yourself 10 good breaths and let go of the day. Get your journal out. Write down 3 things that you're leaving behind in this day. Release them on paper and let them go. Let them stay on that paper. Don't bring it with you. Don't take it to bed with you. Don't tuck it in with you. Leave it there on the paper. And you might even consider going to bed earlier than you normally do. And I'm saying to do this because sometimes we don't realize the rest that we need. During the holidays, one day I decided, I had to go to bed early. I was just tired. I was in pain. I had gone to the doctors. I had some dental work. I was just out of it. I didn't take any kind of medication to make me sleep. I just went to sleep because I was tired. I was exhausted. So here it is, 8:30. I'm in the bed. I guess I was asleep by 9 o'clock. And honey, when I woke up at 10 o'clock the next morning, now I'm an early riser. I get up at 5:30 every day. No, I'm retired. I don't have to get up and go anywhere. I just get up. I like that hour of the day. Sometimes I get out of bed. I come into my office. I just relax and meditate. I connect with God. I get my day state straight, set my intentions. And stepping away from screens is a good way of doing that. Rest is the way that we understand and get in touch with the things inside of us that sometimes we don't connect with. It's when the noise turns off. And I don't know about you, but I need to turn the noise off. I'm a bit of an introvert. I know you might not be able to tell it right now, but I am a bit of an introvert. And after a while, I just do too much people and I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be out the house. I don't want to be on the phone. I don't want to be on Zoom. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. Now, for a social worker, you may say that's kind of odd, but sometimes you get tired. I am so used to giving to people and giving and giving and giving. I need this turn off. So for 2 hours, you can reclaim your evening. You can reclaim some peace for yourself. You can reclaim your right to your productivity. And let me tell you this, when you're rested, you'll get more done. You'll have more to give. But you're the one that decides how you're going to give it and who you're going to give it to. Okay? So that's your challenge for this week. Okay? Because rest isn't lazy, rest is liberation. And you deserve to be free. And I dare you to fight me on it. You do. You deserve to be free. Okay, so normally I would ask for people to call in and we can chat about a few things, give you a chance to get some things off your mind. And we can just, be girls. But this is my first show, so I want to use this time to kind of connect with you. I want to use this time to build trust because as a social worker, I need to build trust with the people I talk to. And so for me, this is a natural thing to do. Um, so for right now, I want to talk about some things that um, I hear women say all the time, especially when I'm coaching them. Um, I hear people say to me, "Well, Diane, you're always talking about resting. You always saying, I can't rest. I don't have time to rest. You don't understand." And I get it. And I hear, "I'm a single mother. I got multiple jobs. I'm caring for aging persons. I'm trying to build a business at night after I get off from my day job." I hear, um, "I'm the only one holding my family together. I got to do this, that, and the other." And they have a whole laundry list of things. I know. I was a single mom too. And believe me, honey, especially when my daughter was in college, mama had three part-time jobs and her full-time job. So I get it and I know what that feels like. But honey, sometimes you got to understand that you can't ignore your need for rest, and you can't ignore your own body and your own self. We can't sacrifice ourselves on the altar of productivity, even when the people that we love the most need us to be out there working. So, self care isn't about spending the day at the spa. I get it. That's expensive. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, if you have time, make time. We can all make time for that because I'm going to tell you something. Nail day, I don't give up for anybody. Personal training day, those are sacred times. Mm-mm. You have to work around that. And so I want you to know that sometimes, yeah, we're working two jobs just to survive. We're doing things by ourselves. And so you don't have any childcare. Childcare is expensive. You got to come home. You got to schedule. You got to cook. You got to do all these things. So, this advice I give you about rest, I'm not talking about this Instagram kind of advice. Okay. You're not gonna see me out on the beach with the wind blowing and I got on this fly dress and my face all made up. And I live in the real world. And I know they do too, but there's images people want to give you. I live in the real world and I understand that you can't always take a day. You may not have the money to spend in a spa. You may be struggling just to get your nails done once a month if you can do that. I'm talking about taking care of you in small ways that are meaningful and powerful. So, first, let's redefine what rest is. Like I said, it's not what you see on Instagram, it's not about a spa. It could be saying no to one thing this week. Somebody asks you to do something, and you just say, I can't. Did you hear that? I can't. No, I'm not available. No is really a complete sentence. You can just say no and look at them and smile. No, you don't have to explain yourself. You can, I don't know about y'all, maybe you can't do it, but I can. Let the dishes sit in the sink overnight. Do them in the morning if you're tired. Give yourself that time and just go lay down and get in the bed and go to sleep. I swear, the dawn police are not going to come get you in the morning. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, girl, if you don't get up and do these dishes, unless you live with your mama, then maybe she will. Let go of these things that we do out of habit and form because somebody told us that we would be lazy if we let the dishes in the sink. How about asking for help when you need help instead of trying to do everything together all by yourself? Is there somebody who can ask to pick up the kids? Think about it. Is there somebody you can ask to do something for you so you can take the time it would take to do that thing and get some rest? Just do a few things that temporarily give you time. And take a deep breath, to close your eyes for 15 minutes, to maybe even call a friend and vent and get it out. But those moments count and those moments add up. Okay, so I'm getting into my next thing is taking the micro rest. Close your eyes, take 10 breaths. Step outside and feel the air on your face, even if it's cold there. Sometimes that's the thing that wakes you up and makes you realize that you're alive. Take a glass of water, get a glass of water and drink it slowly, tasting it, feeling the coolness go down your throat. Enjoy the water. Stretch your arms out. above your head. Reach up, let your shoulders fall. Whew. Let your blood flow and watch the exhaustion leave your body. Just 2 minutes. That's not a lot of time. If you have office, do it in your office. If you need to go in the bathroom stall at work and do it in the bathroom stall, go do it. But we need to do this. The third is directly address your guilt. Okay? So let me tell you this. I used to be scared to tell my mother no. I would never do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Whatever she wanted, I would do. But when it got to the point where I would be going out or have tickets to a show, and 5 minutes before I leave, she called up because she needs me to go to Lowe's to get some light bulbs. That's where I had to draw a line. I have something I have to do, and I said, Mom, I will go get them. But do you really need them tonight? Well, I wanted them tonight. I said, but do you really need them? Because I have tickets to go somewhere, and I'm supposed to leave in 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And then it clicked. I could tell her no. But I gave her no with the alternative. I can't do it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow morning. Maybe I can't do it in this very moment, but I'll do it right before they close. I'll run over there and get it. Can you get them then? I offered another solution, and she said yes. And that took the guilt away. Okay, so I'm saying no with conditions. And that made it feel better for me. A lot of us have guilt about resting. So let me tell you where that comes from, because that's not God talking. That's internalized depression. That's a voice inside of you tell you have to earn rest. And you have to do everything perfectly first before you get a chance to rest. It's a voice that's saying that your value, who you are as a human being, is wrapped up in what you can do. That voice sounds like every boss, every parent, every system that ever benefited from your exhaustion. But here's the truth: you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn it. You need rest to survive. Your nervous system doesn't check your to do list before it shuts down, doesn't check your list whether or not you need a breath. Your heart doesn't beat faster or slower based on what you do. So when the guilt shows up, and it will, I say, mm-mm. Say to yourself, I'm not a machine. I am not a machine. I am not a machine. I'm a human being. And I need rest to function. Rest is not selfish, it is survival. And I deserve to survive. Say it with me. I'm not a machine. I'm a human being. I deserve to survive. Okay? And you say that to guilt when guilt comes rolling around, and it will. The fourth thing, build community on mutual support. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back that are busy doing something while they're listening. Build community that will support you. Most of us know other single mothers. Who do you know at church, on your job, that maybe y'all take turns cooking for one another? I know we say, oh, I don't eat everybody's cooking. Find somebody who's cooking you can eat. Why don't you take times, maybe 2 days out of the week? You cook for them and their families. And another 2 days or one day, they cook for you. And you share your meals like that. Or maybe one day they'll go pick up your kids from school, and then the other day you go pick up their kids from school to give them a chance to go home and rest. I would say laundry, but I don't let nobody do my laundry. I do my own laundry. But we need friends that we can check in with, that will check in with us. We need to have community of people who will support us. If just to listen to you without trying to fix anything, you need that. So here's what I want you to consider. What if rest was justice? And here's some work you can do if you want to work. Because our ancestors were able to survive by building networks of mutual support, by having community that has each other's back. Think about the bus boycotts. They did that as a community. They gave each other rides if they were able to, picked each other up, walked with each other to work, make sure each other was safe. These are the things that we have to learn how to do again. But you got to ask for help. You got to ask for help. We have this trope about us being strong black women. Because the kind of strength that people are talking about drains from you, pulls from you, depletes you, and may even send you to an early grave. Think about it. So you're not in this alone. And if you identify with the struggle, I want you to understand rest is not impossible. So if you're running on fumes, if you're one crisis away from just collapsing, you're not alone in this. Millions of women are in the same place that you're in. It's not your fault, but it is why we have to start talking about rest as collective need and not just an individual choice. We have to start talking about how to give each other a time to rest. And surviving sometimes means resting in 2-minute increments when you can't rest for longer. Doing better than you think. You're doing better than you think, beloved. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not. You're doing better than you think. So at this turn, I guess y'all saying this girl knows she could talk. That's what being an adjunct professor will do for you. So let's talk about the ancestors and what they knew and they're doing. Today, I want to talk about 3 women: Fannie Lou Hamer, Ida B. Wells, and Septima Clark. Um, Let's start with Fannie Lou Hamer. She was a civil rights activist and sharecropper who became a very important voice in the freedom movement. She was beaten, jailed, faced violence that would break most people, but she kept showing up. She kept showing up. Um, and I love this saying, quote by her: "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." And when you get that fed up, you're ready to make some change. And so she sang, she gathered community, she created spaces where activists could catch their breath. She understood something profound. You can't sustain a movement if you burn your people out. You can't sustain a movement if you burn out people. And so, this wisdom that our freedom fighter sister knew was that rest was a part of it. Ida B. Wells was an investigative journalist who exposed lynching in America. It was dangerous work, it was life threatening work. She was exiled from Memphis with the price on her head, and yet she prioritized her family, her friendships, and her own restoration. She traveled, she wrote essays alongside her activism. She understood that sustaining herself was necessary in order to sustain the movement. She didn't martyr herself for the cause. She lived fully for fighting justice. She fought justice, but she lived fully. And then there's Septima Clark, I believe her name is pronounced, often called Queen Mother or Grandmother of the Civil Rights Movement. She developed citizenship schools that taught Black adults to read so they can register to vote. And you know what else she did? She insisted on rest for herself and her students. Rest. She understood that learning required restoration. So, what these women teach us is that rest is strategic, it is revolutionary, and it is also a requirement. Okay, so we're going to also connect this to womenist theology. So, Katie Cannon is a Black woman who was ordained into the Presbyterian Church in the 1970s. I think it was 72, 74. She was the first Black woman. I know the ninth, but she was the first Black woman to be ordained into the Presbyterian Church. And she's also one of the womenist scholars that kind of formed this idea about moral agency, the ability to make choices that affirm your humanity within oppressive systems. For Black women, claiming rest is an act of moral agency. It's saying that the system that exploits me does not get to define my worth or dictate my rhythms. Okay? Rest is communal, it's not individual. People rest together. Church services after Sunday. I remember my aunt used to belong to the House of Prayer for All People. It was a Daddy Grace church. I'm not here to talk about whether or not, what you think about it, but one of the things that they did as a community after church was go upstairs in the kitchen and cook and have a meal. They would eat together. They would laugh. They would talk. Then they'd have more church. But they rested in between church by being in community with one another. That's something we need to get back to. So Sunday wasn't just Sunday was their time of getting together. One of the things that I remember about going down south to Georgia, my grandmother lived in Belleville, Georgia. It's right outside of Claxton, Georgia. I'm gonna use Claxton because I don't know if people know what Claxton is. You probably don't never heard of Belleville, but it's about an hour outside of Savannah. And so one of the things that we did to rest in community was sit on the porch at night, enjoy the breeze, snap peas, or roll tobacco. And when I say roll tobacco, I don't mean like roll cigarettes or yeah, I don't know if that's how it's done, but anyway, um, but we would take the tobacco leaves that my grandfather would have gotten harvested from the fields, whatever, and we would roll those leaves together in order for them to pack it up for to go to go be sold. And so, but that was a time that neighbors stopped by, family members stopped by. There were stories told. There was a lot of laughing. Sometimes there'd be some pie passed around and we would have dessert, but there was always a bunch of love. And that's where we learned about one another. We learned about our history. We learned about our ancestors. And we learned about our elders and their lives and how they came up and the battles they had to fight. It was community and it was peace and it was loving and it was life giving and it was refreshment to my soul. And so that community that we had was resting. There was activity, but it was restful activity. And we did it together. It wasn't that the children had to leave home or go play somewhere. We were all there together. Three, four generations of people just enjoying one another. The other thing is that rest also includes joy. Our ancestors didn't just stop working, they celebrated. They sang, they danced, they told stories like my relatives said. They chose joy when the world said they had no right to. It's funny because sometimes when you see movies that speak of slavery, or if you read stories that speak of slavery, they'll talk about slaves singing. And for white folks, it thought, well, they just happy to, these are happy N words, they just love being slaves. No, that was us taking back our joy. That was us holding on to our rest. That was us being in community with one another. And that's a strategy that we need to use now. Joy is rebellion. Joy means you can't break me. Joy means you me. Joy means your little tactics that you're doing, devil, ain't hurting me. Joy is my right, and joy is your right. Rest is also spiritual. Our ancestors learned how to connect to God, even in some of the darkest days that human beings have ever lived in this country. They would connect with God, they would talk to God, they would have encounters with God in their rest. That holy time, that stopping, whether you're doing it on your knees by your bedside, whether you're in a rocking chair with your eyes closed, they are connecting to God. And they're connecting a part of themselves that God made holy and sacred, connecting to that part of God that is in them, that abides in them and with them, and finding strength from that. That's what rest does for you. So when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about your very survival. I'm talking about our ability to do even bigger and more greater things than we're already doing. And lastly, rest is resistance, baby. You want to fight? Rest. When systems try to work you to death and work them to death, they found ways to rest. Secret meetings, stolen moments, protected hours. It wasn't weakness, that was defiance. hmm That was saying, you don't own me. My time is mine. My rest is mine. My body is mine. There's an author, Virginia Hamilton. Read her story, When People Could Fly. That I love that story. It is so powerful, and the imagery of people just leaving, just taking flight while they're working out in the field because they were tired of working and tapped into a power to let their spirits just be free. We need to make sure that we're tapping into that spiritual energy, because that, my sisters, is what's going to get us through Project 2025. That's what's going to get us through the work we're doing for that next promotion. That's what's going to get us through this doctorate program that we're in. That's what's going to get us through these two jobs, or the one job, the one full time and the three part times. That's what gets you through. When your marriage is difficult, when your children ain't acting right, when the world wants more from you than you even feel like you have to give, it's rest that's going to feed you, rest that's going to build you up, rest that's going to strengthen you, rest that's going to hold you. So, why don't you call an elder in your family? And I know sometimes the elders in your family are my age, but if you have any ones that are even older, ask them how they rested. Ask them what it did for them. then try something that they did. See if the wisdom of your grandmother's nap or your auntie's slow Sunday mornings or your grandfather's garden time has anything to teach you about surviving modern chaos. Garden time got me through COVID. I grew food, but I learned a lot about how to survive from plants. So, if our ancestors could survive Jim Crow, if our ancestors survived slavery, redlining, discrimination, violence, lynching, if they've still found time to rest, to sing, to celebrate, we can figure out how to do this crap in 2026. Okay? We can figure out how to do it. The difference is we have more resources. We actually have more money, we have more options, we have more freedom, we have more education. So, what's our excuse? We don't have one. That's the answer. We don't have one. And so we just have to choose. We have to honor their legacy by resting well. We need to protect our joy by resting well. We need to refuse to be consumed. That's ancestral wisdom. That's your inheritance. You better claim it. I ain't joking. You better claim it. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about um, life coaching. I am a coach. I mentioned in the beginning that I'm a leadership coach. Um, and I do coach um, leaders, church leaders who are starting new worship communities. Some of these are ordained pastors, some of them are lay leaders like myself. And I coach them to make sure that they are, first of all, getting rest and taking care of themselves, that they're sharing leadership, that they have systems in place that help them and support them instead of draining, and make sure they're not the, oh, only me, and turning themselves into Christ because they think they're going to be the answer and the savior of the whole of whatever the ministry is. That's one thing I do. I even assess leaders who want to church plant, and to we assess them to see if they would take them through a process to see if they have the skills. So that's what I do in terms of coaching. But I also life coach, and I life coach women. I have women that I who are anywhere from the age of 25 up to in their 60s. I even had one who was 70. And so it's a process that I found personally helpful. While I was training, I was also being coached. And while I was training, I lost my mother. We were going through COVID, and that was hard in and of itself. We're stuck, couldn't go anywhere. I started gaining all this weight because, I love to cook. And I was watching every cooking show I can get my hand on. And then what would I do afterwards? I get up, go to the grocery store because you can only go to the grocery store and Home Depot, it seemed like, a Lowe's. And so I would go get my ingredients, come back, cook. I was cooking Thai food. I was cooking Ethiopian dishes. I was cooking Caribbean, anything I can think, anything that I saw that I thought was good. I would cook it. I would put my own little twist to it. I would look at whoever was the chef was on TV, see what they were making and how they made it, get the recipe off of Food Network. Then I would turn around and do some research, honey, because if I'm cooking something that's a Peruvian dish, I want a Peruvian person telling me how to season that bad boy. Okay, so anyway, doing all these things, and coaching was something to really help me. And what I like about coaching, it's not therapy. So don't say, ain't nothing wrong with me. I don't need no coaching. We all need coaching. Coach is someone you pay to listen to you and not give you advice. Coaches ask questions. Coaches guide you into thinking deeper about a situation that you presented. A coach will help you to find clarity in your confusion. A good coach walks alongside of you in whatever your situation is and helps to guide you through it by asking the questions that make you probe, by helping you to dissect things and look deeper into it, by having you ponder alternative ways of responding and expressing yourself in different situations. A coach, a life coach, really is going to help you figure out how you want to go through this life. Okay. And so, whether you are a pastor or an executive, an entrepreneur, or just a woman, everyday woman trying to make it through life. And what I've learned is this: most of us know what we need to do. We just don't know how to actually do it. Okay, or we're afraid to give ourselves permission to do it. And that's where the coach comes in. That's what life coaching is. Someone that helps you to find your permission. Someone that helps you to explore different avenues of what's possible for you. A coach is somebody that sees in you what you may not see, but doesn't just say that, oh, it's there. You got this, you got that, and give you all this advice. No, a coach helps you to find it. And it's much more effective when it comes from you. Because guess what? The answer is in there. I can't tell you the answer for you. You can do that. Only you can do that. And it's inside of you. So in this partner process, you get clear on what you actually want, not what somebody else wants for you. You identify what's blocking you from getting there. You create actionable steps as you are making changes. Your coach will be your accountability partner because we're not there to listen to you chit chat about the same problem week after week after week. You go to a coach when you want to act, when you're looking to move, not be stuck in something and have someone watch you be stuck in it. Because I'm not that chick. You definitely don't want me. I'll ask the hard questions. And so it helps you stay accountable. They help you stay accountable to the changes you say you want to make. And a good coach will help you process what comes up. And when I say what comes up, I mean the feelings that bubble up for you, the things that are making you stop. Explore the pauses in your conversation when you talk. Maybe even ask you, every time you talk about that boss at work, your voice goes up an octave. What's that all about? Or say to you, how come when you speak about your mother, your body kind of closes in and your head goes down a little bit? A coach will help you to open up those things you don't even know that you're doing or saying or responding to. A coach will help you with all that. So, um, as I say, it's not therapy, but it can be therapeutic. It often, therapy focuses on healing past wounds. Coaching is about creating your future. You can know you have past wounds, and you can also make a decision of moving beyond this. But you have to identify what that is and what you're moving beyond. And so both are valuable. And I find that in church work, a lot of time people have both a coach and a therapist, or sometimes a coach, a therapist, and a spiritual director, because we all do different things. So here's what coaching is not. It's not telling you what to do. I'm not here to give you a one size fits all formula. I'm here to help you discover what works for you in your life, in your season, in your calling, in your capacity. It's not magical thinking and it's not toxic positivity. Because, baby, it rains sometime in life. Okay? It does rain sometime in life. And rain is okay. Rain is okay. Rain sometimes make you stop and think about things that you don't want to think about, but it makes you stop and think. And so we're not just manifesting our way out of a problem. We're addressing what's internal. We're addressing external barriers. We're addressing the things that keep you stuck when we are coaching. It's not a quick fix, but real transformation does take place. And anyone who tells you that you can't change your life in a weekend is selling you. Anyone that tells you that they can change your life in a weekend, that they can't. And they can't change your life. I hated the title of the show. The show was okay to me, but that Ayanla fix my life. Ayanla can't fix your life, baby. You have to do that work. You have to do it. Nobody can fix it. It's up to you. And so these are some of the benefits that I found. So this clarity, okay, talk about, um, a lot of times we are living on autopilot. Okay. And so we're just doing stuff. We're just doing stuff. We're not thinking about what we're doing, why we're doing it, what it makes us feel like when we do it. We're just doing stuff. So with clarity, when you sit down and examine these things, you can get clarity about why you're doing it. And once you have that clarity, you can make a decision whether you're going to keep doing it or whether you're going to stop. And beloved, sometimes you can just keep doing what you're doing because maybe you get something out of it, but be clear what it is you're getting out of it and be clear that that's all right for you. Okay. Um, what I like to do is I had a young woman who was dating someone, an older man, who was older in age but not maturity. And it was amazing as we were going through this horrible breakup and all this stuff. It was amazing when she finally moved on and was dating. And she said, you know what? I had to stop, Miss Diane, because I realized I asked God for a partner, not a project. I like to hit the floor laughing, but I understood what she meant. She wanted a life partner, not a community service project, but she learned that from getting clear about what wasn't working with that past relationship that she mourned so hard and grieved so hard over. The other big benefit from coaching is accountability. Okay. We can talk all day and night because I'm going to tell you, baby, every January I was on a diet. I was going to the gym. I paid for the gym. And somehow or another, I never lost weight because you can't just pay for the gym. You got to actually go there and do the stuff. Okay. So I just stopped doing it after a while and I just quit. But recently I went back and it's doing what I want to do now, but I have a personal trainer who I'm accountable to. And she is really my coach. She is my physical fitness coach. We talk about what we're doing. We talk about can tell her how I'm feeling doing things. Um, and I found out I'm stronger than I think I am. I also found out that at 67, I can do some things that some people half my age can't do. And so I walk out of there feeling good. I'm tired sometimes, I'm exhausted. I feel a little worn out. My muscles are sore, but baby, I'm starting to look good. I get on the scale and I'm like, oh, look at here, look at here. And I'm losing the weight. And not because I'm on a diet. And thank God I don't have to inject something. But I'm losing it because I'm at a time in my life where I want to live longer. So coaching is something that does that for me. And coaching empowers you. You get permission to change. You get permission to dream and think about different things. It gives you the ability to choose your own agency. And sometimes we need somebody to tell us. Oh, and the other thing, and I'm quiet about this, it helps you to sustain your change. Okay? Because, I can start paying for it. I can quit stuff just as quick as I can start it. But once you make a change, you need something that's going to help you. And I want to tell you this, okay? I 20 some years ago, 25 years ago, I had weight loss surgery. It's a tool. It is not the answer to a solution. But I didn't internalize that before I had the surgery. So for about 20 years, I kept it off for the most part. Gained maybe 20 pounds back of the 80 pounds that I lost. But pretty much stayed. And then COVID came, and boy, you talk about eating away your emotions. That's what I did. And so I needed someone to help me sustain the change. Now, I told you I started coaching during that time, but I also lost my mother. I was also contemplating retirement. I was getting sick of my job. I didn't want to be there any longer. I didn't want to be at any job. And so those kinds of life changes all at one time, weight was not the thing on my mind. But now I'm in a different place. And now I want my health to be better. So, there we go. Anyway, so those are the key benefits. The clarity you get, somebody to be accountable for, is permission, and empowerment, and it's also an account. That's account and clarity. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is why I even started talking about this thing about I don't have I got about 4 minutes to go, and this was not a 4 minute. This is not a 4 minute story, so I'm gonna save this for next time. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna save that story for next time. But in in my Facebook group, and you can go there. It's Daughters of Divine Joy. In that Facebook group, I talk about there when I asked about the group, I started out telling the story I had, and so you can go there to read it. So we covered a lot today. Okay, this is my introduction to you. I hope that you come back next week. I hope that you call in next week. I hope that you send me an email. I hope that you join the Facebook group. I want to see you. And what we do in the group is talk about, I post several times a day, and usually they're questions that have you thinking, questions that'll start community and have conversation. I post a blessing at night. For your day's end and for your rest for that night. Um, Once a week, I'm going to have a meditation in there that you can try for yourself. I will have challenges in there. So we're going to do some interacting, because I've learned at this point in my life that rest is your most is your simplest act of strategic rebellion that you can have. And it's the rebellion to say, I want to live and not die. I want to grow old, and I want to have joy. And so that's why we're doing these things that we're doing. So, rest is rebellion. Real talk is about barriers to rest. Ancestral wisdom from freedom fighters. We're going to talk about those things. We covered that on the benefits of coaching. And then next week, we'll talk about my personal journey from burnout to boundaries. But here's what I want you to remember most: you are beloved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Before we close, I have a challenge for you this week. Okay, so you have your 2 hour digital sundown. I want you to do that this week. Do it at least once. Try it once. And when you try it one time, try it again. And then try it again. So I really want you to do it 3 times, but if you can't, at least do it once. And the next thing, ask the elder in your family, how did you rest? What kept you going through the difficult moments of your time? And write down what they tell you. Practice one micro rest every single day, just 2 minutes. Do something to release stress. Okay? Um, Say out loud when you wake up every morning, I am not a machine. I am a miracle, and I deserve rest. I am not a machine. I am a miracle. I deserve rest. Okay. That's four simple things, four simple practices. They may seem awkward when you first do them, they may seem a little difficult, it may seem like it's impossible, but everything seems impossible until you do it. And once you do it, you find out that you can keep doing it. And so, like I said, if you want to go deeper, please join Daughters of Divine Joy. Next week, I'm going to share with you how to subscribe to my newsletter. I usually write on a topic every week, and I will share that with you. I also post it in my Facebook group. Um, and so there's some things that I'm working on to be able to bring to you, and I'm looking forward to the weeks to come. I pray that there's something that you've gotten here that has blessed you. I pray that you've heard something you haven't heard before. May you remember one moment of joy without permission. You may choose one moment of joy without permission, trusting that celebration is resistance. May your week be marked by sacred rest and not endless striving. May you set one boundary without guilt, knowing that protection is an act of love. And you remember the ancestors who survived the worst. And they are cheering you on, and you can do what they did, rest without apology, rest to resist to resist oppression, rest. Thank you so much. I'm Diane Butts. I'm host of Daughters of Divine Joy. I will see you next Thursday at 5 o'clock. Don't be late because I won't. Take care, beloved. Take care.